Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. I've got some news about a potential HTX launch of the Pi coin. And I want to talk about institutional panic mongering designed to bring down the value of the Pi coin. Is the Pi network selling your data? And I also had my first crypto Wolfpack live open office hours today, which was kind of neat. And I'll tell you all about that shortly. But first, the metrics. The circulating supply is 7.04 billion Pi. And there were no migrations yesterday, save for a strange little burst of migrations that occurred around 4 a.m. Eastern Time, consisting of 18,000 Pi, which amounted to 83 user accounts. No idea why that particular bit of activity occurred, but that was it. And there hasn't been anything yet today. There is 12.7 million Pi remaining in the Pi migration wallet, with unlocked migrated rewards at 1.88 billion Pi and 3.6 million unlocked Pi free to be traded on the open markets. Looking at the price action, the Pi coin is currently trading at 57 cents, which is down 2.71% from this time yesterday. The market cap is at $4.06 billion, and the daily trading volume is at $47.48 million, which is up 36.78%. And as you can see, the Pi coin has continued its downward trend. And if we look at the candles, that consisted largely of two events, one at around 4 p.m. yesterday, and another at around 6 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. We don't know why the coin is going down at this point when it's been holding steady recently, but it is possible that the price is being pushed down intentionally in preparation for a big event. I mentioned previously that there seems to be an uptick in the negative press for Pi, and that can't all be because of price performance, because price performance had been relatively stable even with a huge amount of unlocked Pi hitting the markets. And you have to ask yourself why. And we're going to talk about that when I get into institutional panic mongering. On X this morning, HTX put out this cryptic yet seemingly transparent indication that the Pi coin is ready to be listed on their exchange. The caption reads, "One crypto loading to launch mode." And the sole crypto that they show in the picture is the Pi network coin. HTX has been hinting at this for a little while now. Before Open Mainnet, they publicly said they intended to list the Pi coin on their exchange. HTX has been accepting Pi deposits up to this point, which is usually an indication that a listing is imminent. And there have been strong hints on social media that HTX's KYB is nearly complete. So I expect to hear an announcement on this very soon. I have suspected from day one that institutions and whales have been conspiring to keep the price of the Pi coin down. They want to purchase large amounts of the Pi coin at a low price in preparation for big moves so that they can control the market like they do with every other currency. With 1.7 billion Pi currently in circulation and only 370 million Pi on the exchanges, that can't make institutions happy. And in recent days, it appears to me that the amount of negative Pi ads has ramped up, especially in the last 48 hours. And that can't be coincidence. In this particular post. This was on X this morning. Pi caught lying about BNB Paribas partnership. Will Pi coin crash further? And then they go on to say Pi coin has plunged over 80% since February, driven by fake news and speculative hype. The word hype gets mentioned a lot with regard to Pi and the Pi coin. Prior to the Pi network's open mainnet, there wasn't a ton of hype. Certainly nothing like we've seen for other coins, especially meme coins that are infamous for their rug pulls. But they like to throw this word around to make it look like the Pi coin's not living up to the hype, and that the fact that it ever traded at $3 a coin was a fluke, and that it only has one direction to go, and that's down. With this post in particular, it says Pi Network caught lying about BNB Paribas partnership. Now, all of you know who watch my videos, the Pi Network did not say anything about a partnership with BNB Paribas. Neither did BNB Paribas. This entire speculative chain was started on social media. Articles like this are designed to put fear and doubt into potential investors and for current Pi coin holders. And they want you to panic, and they want you to sell your coin at the low price of 57 cents, or even lower if they can drive it lower. But that can only happen if you buy into the fear. We don't want them buying cheap Pi coin so they can control everything. As you know, I've started a new project called the Crypto Wolfpack with Milkshake Maddie, Bullish Babe, and Cosmic Crypto. And ever since the launch, we've been having daily live streams connecting with our audience. And the response so far has been great. In 60 hours, we got 60 subscribers. A couple of you from watching these updates have joined using my affiliate link, and I thank you. One of the things that we offer are what we call office hours. And office hours are basically just each of us carving out some time and making ourselves available live to talk and answer questions. Now, my area of interest and expertise is in the Pi Network, and I have my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can come and talk to me there. Ask any questions you want. Talk about the weather. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. And all of the other participants have their own office hours. But even outside the office hours, we're often participating in each other's office hours and live streams. You can talk to any one of us at any time during any of these. And it's really cool. And I'm not going to plug too much of it here, but we're picking up steam, and so far the sentiment is very positive. There are a lot of negative comments that get posted on my videos, and a lot of them are not nice, and I remove them. So you may not see them because I want to keep the chat a safe place for people without being exposed to hatred and vitriol and too much negativity. I don't mind respectful disagreement or commentary that doesn't necessarily paint the Pi Network in a good light. But if you attack somebody personally, you call them names, you disparage me in some way, I'm going to remove it, and I may ban the account. This particular user, a little while ago, wanted me to comment about Pi Network selling your data. This has been mentioned many times, and this person said they had proof. So I gave them a method to contact me, and they sent me a bunch of screenshots. I looked into them as I said I would. And then I got back to the user saying that I didn't see anything that was suspicious. Yes, the Pi app is collecting your data. And let me explain. Web-based applications do not reinvent the wheel every single time they write an app. There are a lot of existing frameworks that are tested over years that are used commonly within web apps. And that allows web development and app development to proceed more quickly, because all they have to do is buy a license and plug this offering into their service or into their app, and it's instantly available. And they don't have to debug it or anything. In order to do what some of these frameworks need to do, they have to collect some of your data. And that data could be your GPS location, your username, and other things like that. Now, nothing like your driver's license photos or anything like that. Your KYC information goes nowhere near any of this stuff. But for things like pop-up notifications, texting, SMS, email, geofencing, they all have to collect data from your phone to support what they do. And that's what every single one of these frameworks that I looked at that this gentleman showed me did. The biggest offender are the ads. Ads are provided by external servers and sources that are not controlled by the Pi network. So when you plug in a service that provides ads, you're at the mercy of whatever the ad providers are doing. If that's collecting and selling your data, then that's what they're doing. And by allowing those ads into your application, you're implicitly allowing this to happen. But that is in no way sanctioned, endorsed, or even facilitated in any way by the Pi network. It's just the nature of the beast, and every single app that you've ever used does similar things, especially from the App Store or on a web browser or anything. Almost all applications collect similar data. So after going through that, I responded back to him saying, I don't see anything here that's a problem. I never heard back from him. But I get a message this morning, and it wasn't a good one. He basically claimed that my channel was run by Pi network moderators, which it's not, but I know why he said it, and that the Pi network is funded by the CIA, which immediately got my hackles up, because I took the guy seriously at first, but he revealed himself as being something of a nutter, and then threatened me to investigate me. And you know what? Go right ahead. That's the kind of thing you run into. Is the Pi app selling your data? No. At least not directly. And the data that is getting sold has nothing to do with your personal data that you shared for your KYC. The data that's being sold is the same data that gets sold with just about every other app that you use. So don't worry about your privacy being violated. It is not to any significant extent. And when somebody tells you that the Pi network is selling your data, tell them to show you the proof. Well, that's all I've got for today. If anything pops up, I'll be sure to let you know. But until then, don't panic. Stay the course. I feel that there's some big things happening behind the scenes. So remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.